In a nutshell, the impact of the ongoing political turmoil on the economy in general and FDI in particular is negative. I think that's the easy answer to the question. Um, but obviously, Pakistan has seen a decent amount of FDI in the last few years, and that's been driven by CPEC projects primarily in the power and energy space. About $2 billion each year is the amount of FDI that we've been able to attract. It's a number that falls far short of the numbers we were pulling off in the early 2000s, in the mid 2000s, when the Musharraf era, which was $5 to $6 billion a year. And that FDI was a lot more diversified, right? It was in energy, it was in telecommunications, it was in banking, financial services. So that obviously those days are long past. And in the middle, of course, we saw the global financial crisis, and then we saw the scourge of terrorism rear its head in Pakistan, and that had an impact on FDI, of course. So the last few years, of course, we've seen money come in from CPEC, but those projects are nearing completion or trailing off now. And obviously, I think it's a very easy assessment that the ongoing political turmoil will put on hold a lot of plans, if foreign investors had in Pakistan. In fact, we've actually seen outflows, and a lot of MNCs, particularly in the pharmaceutical space, leaving the country in the last few years. And of course, what that means. I mean, if this ongoing political turmoil persists, plans are going to be put on hold. Particularly, I think in the startup space, there's already been, a bit of a freeze in terms of startup funding the world over. But if and when the cycle turns, unfortunately, and if this political turmoil is still continuing, then you can expect that Pakistan might fall down the pecking order whenever the cycle turns again. And that's unfortunate, because obviously we are a large country, 2.3 million plus people, fifth largest population. So it is a massive opportunity, but unfortunately these plans get sidelined and derailed and sidetracked, um, because of the negative headlines that we might be putting out right now. Arguably, of course, the impact goes beyond just FDI. There are certain schools of thought that think, that believe that politics is something that maybe multilateral or bilateral lenders will be keeping a close watch on, because certainly they want Pakistan to fulfill some of their commitments on the economy before they make these commitments for fresh funds or assistance. So there is a line of thought that believes that Pakistan might raise the necessary financing that it will need to plug the funding gap over the next year or so, if this political turmoil sort of persists. And I think at some level it makes intuitive sense, because obviously if our politicians, our policymakers, their attention is diverted and they're spending more of their time in politics, then really, are they focusing as much on the economy as there is need. So I understand where that line of reasoning is coming from. But of course, it's a little bit more nuanced. I think the correlation between political turmoil and global lending is maybe not as straightforward as it might seem in the case of FDI. Now, what can the government do? I mean, obviously, I think anybody, whoever's in power, whoever's key stakeholders, they need to obviously, deliver some sort of stability very, very quickly. I think this is in nobody's favor, for this level of political uncertainty to exist. And I think there's a mantra for markets, financial markets, and of course, but any kind of markets and finance in general, that uncertainty is the worst possible thing that can happen, right? Because especially in the case of FDI, it's going to put on hold a lot of the plans, because you can't make a case for the outlook. And the outlook will always be hazy if there is uncertainty. So obviously, the quicker things settle, the better. I think at this point in time, maybe in the near term, it really doesn't matter what happens, as long as it happens quickly, because Pakistan cannot sustain this level of uncertainty for too long. It's already been far too long. So one can only hope and pray that this level of uncertainty eases, and that will help bring the economy back on track. That's all one can hope for.